channel. My name is Becky and this is where I talk about knitting and crafting, anything that I have been getting up to. You can find me on Instagram as @BeckyKnits or on Ravelry as Becky Monday. If you are a returning viewer, then welcome back, and if you are a new viewer, then thank you for joining me for the first time. I've got stuff to talk about. Feeling a little bit out of practice. It's been 3 weeks since I last did an episode. Yeah, there's definitely things to talk about. So I'm just going to get stuck in because I don't want to go on forever. The first thing that I'm going to show you is a finished object. Now, I don't know if I showed you these in a previous episode. I must have done. This is my February sock. If you are joining me for the first time, then you will not know that I have challenged myself to finish 12 socks this year. So I am finishing old whips and starting new socks, and yeah, basically I'm picking a sock every month that I want to have finished by the end of the month. So these socks were some that I had started last year and didn't finish. I think I was about here on the first sock, and then I changed how I was knitting socks, changed the kind of needles that I use, changed the way that I do my heels, things like that. And so these weren't in line with my new method of sock knitting. So I put them to one side with the intention of going back to them, and I didn't until now. So there they are. These, I finished these over the weekend and I am really pleased with how they turned out. I don't think the camera is really doing the colour justice. It is so fun. It reminds me of sweets. It is called Fruit Loops. It's my hand dyed yarn in my Fruit Loops colourway. Yeah, definitely makes me think of Fruit Loops. It felt like perfect colourful knitting for grey February days. So those are my finished object. I don't think I have finished anything else this month, have I? I think this is going to be my only finished object for February. Could be wrong about that, but yeah. So I'm really happy with how those turned out. They are just my vanilla sock pattern. I do a 64 stitch cast on 2.25mm needles. I do fish lips kiss heel. Yeah, I do 75 rounds in my foot, and then a toe decrease, and that's it. So I finished those at the weekend. We were away at the weekend. I'll talk about that later in life stuff. We were away at the weekend and I decided that I was only going to take a couple of projects because I wanted to get stuff finished. So I took the socks and finished them in the car on the way to our weekend away. We went to Edinburgh and yeah, finished them in the car, and I was like, eek. Oh, glad I brought something else. I very nearly only took the socks because I thought I'm not going to have a lot of knitting time when we're not in the car. So I thought, oh, well, I won't take anything else. And then I saw sense and threw in an extra project. So I have been knitting on my Musselburgh hat. Here it is. Yarn is Fibre Spates. I think it's called Blush. I haven't got the card. No, but really pretty kind of rosy blush colour. So I've been enjoying this. It's just plain knitting, which was perfect for while we were away. So I think I think it was probably about here. If I have shown this to you before, then I was about here. So I've made good progress. Yeah, so happy with that. Happy with how that's coming along. I don't think I'm going to have enough yarn to get the full thing out of one ball of yarn, so I am kind of debating knitting to the halfway point and then switching to a different colourway so that I complementing colourway, like maybe a cream or something, so that I have like a reversible hat. If you haven't seen how the Musselburgh hat works, you basically knit the crown increases and a long tube, and then you knit the decreases on the other end. So you have like a sausage and then you push one end into the other end like that. So you have like a double layered hat. So I'm thinking that if I do a second colour, then if I want to turn the brim over, as long as it's a sort of complementing colour, that would look quite nice. Let's have like a sort of like cream brim on a pink hat, for example. Or if I didn't want to turn the brim over, then it wouldn't really matter. I don't know. The other option is that I just knit until I run out of this yarn and then just finish off with a different colour, and then I'll know that that contrasting end is the inside of my hat, but I don't know whether that's going to really bother me. So we'll see. We'll see. And this is in my Space Cats project bag. I don't know if I've shown this to you before, possibly I have, but yeah, space cats, woo, aliens, spaceships, things like that. I have started having a play with making project bags, and this is one of the ones that I have made. So I've got quite a lot of this fabric. I have got some cut out, so I think probably keep your eye open on my Instagram page. They might be coming to my shop soon. I'm not like thinking I'm gonna become a project bag maker. I'm just thinking I've got like 2 meters of this fabric and I like how it looks in a project bag, so I might as well make some up, and then we can share in the love of the Space Cats project bag. So the other thing that I was working on it loads before we went away, and then I decided not to take it because it's quite bulky. Yeah, I decided that I wasn't going to take it because we were really short on space in the car. So this is my Shady Side jumper pullover in my Bumbling Yarns advent calendar. And it looks much bigger now that I'm looking at it today. I've been working on it. Picked it up again when we got back on Tuesday. And it looks much bigger than I thought it was going to have looked by now. So that's good. I have no idea how many stripes I need to put in the body, but I feel like I'm probably going to need to figure that out soon, because I want to know that I have enough stripes to do the sleeves, and also I don't want this to be too long. A lot of my hand knit jumpers, or a lot of my jumpers in general, are really long. Like they come past like the top of my hips, like way down to like cover my bum basically, and it just, when I've been putting them on recently, it just doesn't look right with, I wear like high-waisted jeans, or I wear high-waisted skirts, and then if I put a jumper over the top which comes down to like my bum, it just doesn't look right. So I have realised I need to stop my jumpers more at the sort of just below like the waistband of my jeans really. So I need to figure out how much more of this I have left to knit on before I go to the sleeves, and I'm debating on the sleeves. Do I want to go 3/4 length, or do I want to go full length? If I'm going to go full length, then they're not going to come like down here. It will be, is it bracelet length, sort of here, because I always push my sleeves up, so I don't want them to be too long. Thinking maybe like a bracelet length might be a good compromise to keep me warm, but I'm not going to be like having to push them up all the time. But maybe I'll go 3/4 length, because then I don't have to push them up at all. I don't know. I've got lots of decisions to make on length of things basically. But there we go. I'm really loving how this is turning out. I was kind of like, oh, is it me? Is it too much? But I really like it. So yeah, I really love this colourway, sort of purples and greys. I really love that one, and this one, which is like pinks and browns and then slightly blue. Oh, and then the other thing that I have been working on, I think I mentioned this last time we spoke, and then and I said, who wants to do a yarn swap? And I got a couple of people who said that they wanted to do a yarn swap, which was really exciting. And so I have started adding in to my Cozy Memories blanket the first, no, it doesn't know what it wants to focus on. So this is, not sure, oh, hang on. I think this one was from Sam. And this yarn that I'm currently working on is Siobhan's Crafts Hufflepuff. Sam did these really nice like cards for all of the different yarns, so I know which one is which. And so look at all of these beautiful little mini scraps. I am so excited to start getting these into my blanket. So cute. So thank you if you were one of the people who did a swap with me. That was really exciting, and so exciting to receive your parcels. So thank you to Sam, Becky and Katie. All your scraps are in here and they will be added to my blanket very soon. So that I'm working on, I leave it on, we've got like a chest of drawers in front of our window the television sits on, but sometimes if things are a bit crazy in the house and I don't feel like I can sit down because the boys are maybe playing like quite an energetic game, and so if I sit down then it's really easy for me to like miss something. So if I want to knit while they're entertaining themselves but I want to be like alert to what they're doing, then I quite like to stand at the chest of drawers because I can look out the window, which is quite nice and calming when there's chaos going on around me, but I can also keep an eye really easily on the room and what is going on, and that's quite nice. So I often have this basket sitting on the top of the chest of drawers, which looks really nice as well. It's quite aesthetically pleasing. And then I can just do like, the rows are short. I do 40 stitches for each square, and then obviously they get shorter every other round. You know, even if I just get 1 or 2 rows done during the day, then a square just knits itself very quickly. And I have like times where I just get completely obsessed. As you can see, I think possibly did I just have maybe 6 squares last time I showed you, but now look, I have got quite a good number coming on. I think I put this one in the wrong place because I'm not going to be able to pick up right here, so I'm going to have to sew this one to the next one that goes here. So I think I figured out for next time the correct place to pick up for the next square. I don't think what I just said just made any sense at all, but maybe if you've knit one of these blankets and knit it with this kind of like radiating out effect, then maybe you know what I mean when I'm like picking up from the wrong place. So, but there we have it, my colourful Cozy Memories blanket. So the only other thing to talk about is my March socks. I have already selected my March socks. I am going to be working on these that I started when we were on holiday in October last year, and put down in favour of something, probably something with requiring less brain power. This is the heel toe do-si-do pattern by the Crazy Sock Lady, and the yarn is Rum Paradise, I want to say, by West Yorkshire Spinners. So here we go. I seem to remember that this flew. Once I got into it and once I memorised the pattern, I seem to remember that it just flew. I think I paused to decide on what I was going to do with the heel, and then ended up going for the fish lips kiss heel. So I am now into the foot and just need to figure out where I am in the pattern repeat, but I haven't finished one yet. This is the first sock. I feel like this is good progress. We'll see. Everything else that I'm knitting on at the moment is like super easy knitting, and there are times when I want to knit something that requires me to think a little bit more. So yeah, I've got two stockinette patterns, two stockinette projects and a garter stitch project, so I needed something that was going to be a little bit more interesting. So we'll see how that goes, because I also, as I said, want to get my shady side finished this month, well, in March, before the end of March, so that I can wear it to East Anglia Yarn Fest. So that's it for knitting. I haven't done any sewing other than making my project bags, but I don't think I've done any since the last time I spoke to you. I've been doing a fair amount of reading. I don't know if you're interested in reading, in reading chat, book chat, but yeah, I've kind of got into the habit of always having an audiobook on the go, so when I have a moment to myself, I listen to the audiobook, and that's been quite nice. And I also have a book on my Kindle app on my phone, because that's usually good for bedtime reading. The light of my phone doesn't distract my children when they're going to sleep, so I can read. I used to just scroll through Instagram, and I was like, why don't I read books anymore? I miss reading books. It's like, oh, it's because I spend those moments looking at Instagram instead of reading my book. So I now read at bedtimes, and when I'm like holding the children at nap times, things like that. That's been really great for my reading. One of my goals for this year was to read more books than I read last year. I read 4 books last year, which is, for me, really terrible. I'm definitely not somebody who can read like 100 books in a year, anywhere near that. I think a couple of years ago I set myself the goal of reading 50 books, and I think I did that two years in a row, and I think one year I just made it. I think I snuck in like a graphic novel at the end of the month, at the end of the year, to sneak into that 50 books. And then, but since then, like usually around 25, I can get a couple of books read a month. Do you read? Do you like reading? Let me know what you're reading down below. I'm always looking for book recommendations, particularly if they are on Kindle Unlimited, because I just subscribed to a free trial of that, so I'm kind of trying to make use of that because I'm not going to pay for it after the 2-month free trial. So squeeze as many free books into the next 2 months as possible. So other than that, yeah, we went to Edinburgh, which was unexpected. So we knew that Aidan and Andrew, my husband and my eldest, were going to go to see Andrew's sister, who lives in Edinburgh. They were going to go on the train last Friday, and then on Thursday, or Wednesday and Thursday, there were loads of weather warnings, like big storms, and Andrew checked on Thursday on the train's website, and they said that they were cancelling trains, and to sort of not to travel if you didn't have to. And yeah, Andrew was pretty gutted, and we knew that Aidan would just be heartbroken because we'd already had a disappointment earlier in the week because I'd forgotten to book him onto gymnastics, and it was half term, and so everybody had booked onto gymnastics, and so they turned up at gymnastics and he couldn't go in because it was full, and he was heartbroken. So it was like, well, we can't now cancel Edinburgh because that would just not, we would not be popular parents if we cancelled Edinburgh as well. So I said, can we drive from Norfolk to Edinburgh? And Andrew was like, I don't know. So I said, right, his parents live in Derbyshire. So I was like, well, okay, instead of leaving Friday morning, we'll leave tonight, Thursday night. We'll pick Aiden up from nursery and we'll just drive to your parents and we'll stay overnight there, and then we'll drive from Derbyshire to Edinburgh on the Friday. So I was like, okay. So we had to sort of mad rush, try and find cat sitter, and then Andrew had to call the hotel and ask if they had any family rooms. Luckily they did, and they were happy to upgrade us for free, which was lovely. So yeah, it was like crazy. I have to pack. So yeah, that was it was quite exciting though. It was one of those sort of, because I wasn't going to go and neither was Rory, so for us it felt like a spontaneous trip. Yeah, poor Andrew had to drive all the way though, because our car is too small and he isn't comfortable in the passenger seat, so he had to drive everything. So we did lots of stops, which you have to do anyway with kids, so that was okay. But yeah, made it to Edinburgh on Friday. It was really lovely. The boys slept so well, all in the same room. I'm glad I took really easy knitting, because I did have to knit in the dark on one of the nights, because we didn't want to turn the light on and risk disturbing them. So yeah, I had to knit in the dark, listening to my audiobook, which was quite pleasant actually. And then we went to Edinburgh Zoo on the Saturday and had breakfast there with the big cats, which was really exciting. I might put a picture in of how close we got to a lion. There was glass between us, but the lion came right up to the glass and we were like, you know, this far away from a lion. So that was quite cool. Yeah, and I went to a yarn shop, and I can't believe I have absolutely no idea where I've put my yarn. I bought yarn and I don't know where it is. I'll have to show you next time. I'll put a picture in or something. I bought some really pretty yarn from this yarn shop, name of which I can't remember. It's tiny, but that was really nice. And then we came back on the Monday, and the plan was to drive all the way back from Edinburgh to Norwich on the Monday. But we got as far as Hexham in Northumberland, and it was lunchtime by that time. And we were like, we can't make it all the way home in one trip. So we went back to Andrew's parents and stayed there, which was really nice again. And then we managed to swing into Sheffield. We've got some friends that live in Sheffield that we've not seen for probably since the summer. So we were like, let's swing in and see them. So we did that, which was really nice, and stayed with them for a lot longer than we had planned. But they are the kind of friends that doesn't matter how long it's been since you last saw them, you basically just pick up where you left off. And yeah, it was really nice. And they've got their two girls are quite a lot older than our boys, and they were at school. So I think that our friends quite enjoyed having little children in the house again. They were like silly playing. It was really nice. So yeah, and then we made it home in time for shoveling some food into the children and then stuffing them into their beds. So but it was a really, really nice weekend. And it was kind of one of these things where all along the way it kind of just changed and developed, and everything felt a little bit spontaneous. Like, oh, you're going to go on Friday? No, we're not going to go on Friday, we're going to go on Thursday. We're all going to go, and we're going to go in the car. And like the weather was like, it's one of those things that me and Andrew at least, I don't think the boys will remember it, sadly, but we'll remember it as one of like that time we drove to Edinburgh and it was snowing and really windy, and yeah, it was really fun. Definitely a memory trip. So I need to make sure that I find that yarn, and whatever I knit with it, I have to have at least 3 grams left so that I can put it in my Cozy Memories blanket, because that is definitely a cozy memory blanket worthy trip. Okay, I think I have done enough now, and I will go. Thank you very much for joining me again for another half hour and I will see you next time. Bye.